You know, we've actually had several retirement receptions. We had one at Christmas. We had one with the clerk's party. We gave a clerk's party, and that was kind of our going away. Judge Patey's swearing in, it almost ended up of us having a going away reception there. And then last week, I had established a party for going away for Debbie Phillips, my court administrator, who's done a great job, and for Pat Brown, our court officer, that's done a great job. And they surprised me then. So I kind of feel like Cher. You remember she had that farewell tour? I think she's still having it. I don't know. It never ends, but today is special for us because it is our final day, and the other ones were with political leaders and special judges and clerk's office, which were all fine, good people. But the one today is with family and friends, and actually the ones that brought us here. I want to look back. Of course, it's a time of reflection, and I hope you'll bear with me for a few minutes. In 22 years, it's hard to get your words and thoughts in a short time. You know, in that 22 years, a lot has happened. You had the 9/11. We've had the pandemic that nobody ever thought we would have had. There's been a lot of ups and downs. And of course, me being in my 80s, I've had a lot of losses when you get on up there in age. I actually lost my entire immediate family, my father and mother. My father died in '81. He was Crawford Bean. He was a good man, good lawyer, and a good father. My mother, Eloise, passed away in 2011, and I lost all three of my brothers, Crawford, Martin, and David, who were all great men. I lost three sister-in-laws that I love dearly, Tony, Judy, and Sybil, and we lost Trey. I still have Phyllis, and I think Phyllis is here today. She's my sister-in-law. I see her raise her hand. She's here. And you know, we lost a lot of good friends, and it's not a time of mourning, it's a time to honor because it's been a while, but I wanted to mention the ones that we've lost. There's been several court officers we lost, Harry Jarrett, Sonny Mosley, Benton Green, Charles Hughley. They were all fine men. And my number one court officer, that Pat will agree was my number one court officer, David Francis, my college friend, passed away last year. We lost Judge Milligan, who was only up here for about a year, but I really enjoyed being here with John during that time. We lost Steve Bevel, my good friend, and I'll talk about Steve a little later. I lost my friend, military fella named Hawk. Hawk used to come down and go eat with us. He was a good man. Lost Dr. B. A lot of you know Dr. B from Sport Talk. I was a great defender on there, and Dr. B and I became very good friends. I had a very good friend, Gary Anderson, that I lost not long ago. He and I would, every night, we'd get on the phone and talk about the Braves and what they should have done and what they didn't do. I think maybe his sister Lynn may be here today. And I lost Michael Basket, a fine man, a good friend. I lost him to COVID, and I lost several friends to COVID. So all that said, I want to honor those people, but it makes you a little lonely. But thank God for the second generation and for our friends. We have plenty to fill our hearts with. My family, my children. Russ was here last week. He is out on the road with a tech crew this week, so he couldn't be here. My son Chris is in California. That sounds like a John Prine song, doesn't it? But I think maybe their mother might be here, Joyce. I don't know if Joyce is here, but if she's not here, I know a lot of her friends are. Joyce has a big following. She's got Gary and Sarah and the Bevels and a lot of friends. And of course, my daughter Holly, she's already been back there to see me. And I don't know if her husband Chris is here or not, and her mother, Darlene. I think some of them are here. And my undocumented, unofficial son, Danny. Danny's here. I think he adopted me rather than me adopting him. Isn't that right, Danny? So he's right in there with my family. And then I got a lot of nephews and nieces and cousins and sister-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, son-in-laws. I will say my nephews and nieces. We got Sharon and John and Laura, Nash and Simon. But if I started naming all their family, we'd be here all night. But they are all a true blessing. And their friends, the friends of my sons and daughters have been very good. We've played music together. We've gone to a lot of ball games together. So if they're here today, I appreciate them being here. You know, we've had a lot of friends, and I think we've got several groups here today that through the years have been supportive of me, and I want to go through them. Actually, I had one that was from grammar school that called me the other day and said, "Hey, are you having a reception?" So it goes back to grammar school, and I've got friends from high school and college and law school. A lot of us go eat together. We've taken football trips together. Jim, Jeannie, Don, Suanna, and Ed, we've all stayed real close. I've had my neighbors on my side of the creek and on the other side of the creek, and I think they're here, some of them, and I thank all of you for being here and supporting me. We have people from Sport Talk, as I mentioned, and one thing that was always ironic to me, when I got elected judge, after a couple of years, I'd be out at a restaurant or I'd be in the mall, and somebody would come up to me and they'd say, "I know who you are." And I would think, well, they're going to say, "You're the judge here." And they'd say, "You're the great defender." And that shows you the power of the media. Got a legal group that maybe are here that I go eat with, Tom Williams, Bob Batson, and Gary Napolitan. We go eat and tell war stories. And I've got my radio pals here. They've already been back to the back taking pictures. Hey Earl, Gentle Ben, Johnny Eagle. I've been a lot of places with them. I go to the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame with them, events at WFLI out there in the Lookout Valley. Earl and Ben and I went to the Charlie Leuven Museum took a trip there. And when I'm with them, they're always talking gigabytes and megahertz. I have no idea what they're talking about, but I still enjoy being with them. I don't know what they're saying really. I have special friends that's already been back here. Ed and Bonnie Gravitt, they came back to the bank. Ed was a great bondsman here in Chattanooga, and Ed and I traveled for years to all these Tennessee games all over. Not just Tennessee, we've been all over the place. And Ed, I think, was bragging that he might be the oldest person here, but I'm not sure about that. Phyllis, is Frances here?
No, she wouldn't able to make it, but she sent you a rock she painted.
Okay. Yeah, she's a beautiful artist. Well, she would have beat Ed, so Ed, you do get the prize for the oldest, but thank you all for being here. It's always good that you do that. Court, as Judge Shattuck, I see him, and judges will tell you, court can be very stressful. And I want to thank the people that kind of helped me get over some of that stress. After court, I would go out to the ball games at UTC or Red Bank, and I'd sit with Boomer, my friend Boomer, Barbara and Jamie. I'd always sit with them, and they lighten the load. I'd go to plays. I like theater. And Linda, I don't know if Linda Weathers is here or not, but she would always, I'd see her there. And then my friend Benny Parker, he's always calling me, telling me jokes. So all that lightened my load a lot. But there are three men that are here that are there's two men here that are extremely special to me. And there was three men that were very special. The first one was Ward Crutchfield. Is Missy here? I don't know if she made it or not. But Ward would see me try cases when I was just a special judge, and he came up to me in court and he said, they're going to have an opening for city judge. You need to put your name in. I said, Ward, they're not going to get me. They're not going to appoint me. And Ward said, well, you don't know. My son-in-law is the mayor. And so I put my name in, and I did go and see Mayor John Kinsey, and we talked. And I evidently he liked what he heard, or either Ward talked to him. I don't know, but I think we hit it all pretty well. But when I was going to be, when he was going to appoint me, there was political pressure for him not to do it. And I think he had the courage to do it. And I appreciated that. He's the best mayor in America. Okay, and I do remember that we went to the back room before he was going to go out and appoint me. And he said, "There's a lot of pressure out here." I told him, I said, John, I'm going to make you a good judge. And he stood with me with that. The other person is Fred Steelman. Fred gave me my spiritual guidance to get this judgeship. He and Red Bank Baptist, and I always have been so appreciative of what Fred has done for me. So without those three men, I would not have had this job that I cherish so much, and I do thank them. You know, a lot, as I mentioned, has happened that's made a stressful time up here, and there have been people back in the back here that have helped me to get over some of that stress and have helped me with advice. I mentioned him a minute ago, Judge Clarence Shattuck. He was back here on the same floor with me. Clarence and I would talk a lot of sports. He's a sports nut, I am too. But he gave me a lot of guidance when I would first start, because he had been judge for a while, and I would go in and ask him this or that, and he always gave me a lot of guidance. One of the things was Judge Williams was the other city judge, and Judge Moon was the sessions judge, and they had offices just almost side by side, and they were at it all the time. They were upset with one another constantly, and I'd go in there with Clarence, and I'd say, I don't know what to do, you know. Judge Moon comes in there and says your partner's doing this, and your partners say this, and he gave me a little bit of advice. He said, best thing if you can stay out of it. Well, I went back in there and I told him, I said, I can't stay out of it. He said, well, just do the best you can. That's what I did, tried to do the best I could with him. Steve Bevel. Steve was a judge here for 5 years while I was here, and we lost him in 2005. Lost him same time, about almost the same week I lost my brother Martin. His family may be here. Is Margie, Derek, and Libby, all are here. Channing, is Channing here? She's not. Okay, well, a great family, and Steve was a great friend and just helped me a lot. And his friend, Jerry Sloan, is Jerry here? I don't know if Jerry made it or not, but Jerry was it. He is, okay. I can't see over there, but Jerry and Steve went to Central High School together, and they were very good friends. And Jerry has had a great career as an attorney general, and he is retiring. So today is his last day also, and I salute him because he's had such a good career. Another person that helped me a lot was Bill Hullender. Bill and his wife Linda helped me a lot with Matt Hullender. Bill gave me a lot of advice. He always was very supportive of me over here. And the radio group and a lot of us would go out to the Hullender farm for the gospel music that kept my religious spirits going. And the Hullenders are a great family, and I appreciate them. I have been blessed, I think, with great mayors, great council. I've had a great staff with Debbie, Pat, and Angie, who took over for David, and then Manny has come in with us. Donut, I don't know if Donut's here, but I've had a lot of good court officers. I've had great clerks, the ones that have been up here recently. Teresa's not here today, but Betty was up here with me, and Thelma's in the back, and they have always just been wonderful to work with. Now, in leaving, I've been interviewed quite a bit. You know how that is. You've been here a while, so you have these different news people come up. Actually, they come up and they start asking you questions. They know more about you than you do. I'd forgotten a lot of that stuff. And they all ask the same thing. They said, what memorable moments do you remember? Well, in 22 years, and Judge Shattuck knows this too because he was there longer, and I figured up one time in 20 years, I think I heard 80-something thousand cases. And it's amazing. People would come up to me somewhere at the mall or something, and they say, I had a case in your court. You remember me? And believe it or not, every once in a while I would, but not always. But I'm going to tell you a little bit. There's a couple of fun times. The fun times mainly were weddings, I thought. We had one fairly recently, not long ago, Roger Allen Wade and Andrea. Is Roger here? I don't think he's made it. That was up on Haskew Mountain. That was a good one. I had one wedding. Some of you remember Kevin Billingsley. Kevin was on the news for a while, and then he was had Valley Brook. He had the Valley Brook Golf and Country Club. He called me and he said, "Can you come out here and perform a wedding?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "They've got the papers and all to do it, and can you bring your robe?" I said, "Oh yeah." And I said, "I have something that I bring with me that I put my stuff on. I pretty much call it a podium. It's a small podium." So I go out there, and I go in, and the bride is dressed in her bridal outfit, and there's her father's over there by her. And I said, "Well, where's the groom?" They said, "Well, he's out on the golf course." So they get us out, and the 18th green over there, it's got some trees around it. They put me behind one tree, and they put her behind another tree, and Daddy behind another tree, and Daddy's got a shotgun. So he comes up on the 18th green, and we all run out. I put the podium down. We performed the wedding, and I talked not long ago to Kevin, and Kevin said they're still married. I mean, I'm sure that they had been talking a lot about it. Another one that was very moving was a lot of you know Joe Dixie Fuller. Joe Dixie called me. He was down at Riverbend. He said, "Hey, we've got a soldier down here. He came in for a 4-day pass, and he and his girlfriend want to get married. They're in love, and he wants to get married before he goes back." And it was like maybe Friday afternoon late or either Saturday. And I said, "Do they have any papers?" He said no. And so we called Bill Knowles, another great friend, and Bill got them the papers. And I went down there, and I think all the TV stations were there. It was on the Riverbend stage, and I performed that wedding, and it was on the state news. It was rather moving to have that soldier there with the girl that he loved, and to get that done. In court, there's been so many things. I'm going to try to remember a couple of them. One, we've kind of laughed at this before because it was a foreign country lady that came up. I think she was dressed kind of like maybe a Scandinavian dress, but she came up, and I'm not really sure. I think she had maybe a speeding, but it might have been just like registration or something. But anyway, I asked her name, and she curtsied, and she said, "Yes, Your Majesty." And I said, "Are you prepared for this today?" "Yes, Your Majesty." And she curtsied again. And it was about 2 or 3 times, and she said, and I said, "No, you don't need to explain the case. Your case is dismissed. Go on out." I said, if I could get treated like that and be called in. We had a fight in court. I'm sure some of the other judges have had fights in their court, but we had a fight in court. And this one, the man came up, and you could tell he was ornery to start with, but I rose, I want to swear him in. I said, "So help you God." He said, "No." He said, "I'm not doing that. I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist." I said, "Well, you're going to tell the truth." "Yeah." So anyway, we start hearing the case, and it's very volatile. He says, I'm not doing anything, so the police start grabbing him. They get in a fight. Of course, you know what judges are supposed to do when there's any problems? You're supposed to get out of there. Well, what I did, I just sat there and watched the whole time. But anyway, they got in a fight, and they got this atheist down on the ground, and the police officer took his taser and shot him, and the guy said, "Oh God, please help me." Yeah, we always remembered that. Of course, what I really remember up here is of us being a family. I mean, we have really grown to be a family. When I came in, I told them that we treat everybody with respect. We don't have any government air. I didn't need to tell them that. All of my people don't have a government air where, you know, we're kind of better than everybody else. So we've always tried to treat everybody with respect. Now, I think we have reached the end of the trail. I apologize for the length, but there's a lot to say. One other thing I want to mention to you, somebody had been back there. My chambers has been nicknamed the Tacky Museum. There's a lady that came in. I always, you know, most judges, if you go in, they'll have a couple of pictures and they'll have a set of scales or something like that. Well, when I started, and I had the sports stuff, and I just kept putting it up and up and up, and there was a lady went back there, and she said, "Well, this is tacky." And then I went back with some other people, and they said, "Well, this is a museum." So I said, "Well, we're going to name it a Tacky Museum." And you can tell from the pictures back there the involvement of me. If you look at some of them, there I am, whitewater, I'm on a bike, motorbike or something, and then about 10 years later, I'm playing golf, got golf pictures, and then more recently, I'm out to eat with all this crew that I mentioned about with. So I think that's the way it goes. I hate to leave. As all of you know, a lot of you out there know, I love music. I love country music. Scotty McCreery in his song, he said, "The clock don't stop." Tracy Lawrence in his song said, "Time marches on, time marches on, time marches on." And the musical play, Oklahoma. Have many of you seen the play Oklahoma? Some of you. There's a song in there, Kansas City, and it's got words in there. It says, "We've gone about as far as we can go." I say, we've gone about as far as we can go, and they're walking off, and it says, "I've gone about as far as we can go." So Pat, where's Pat? Over here. Debbie, we've gone about as far as we can go.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party.
We are going to have some refreshments if you'd like to stay around. We got a little cake, got some water if you need something to drink. Set up your table. Just take
Wait, I'll see if we can get John Kinsey.
Alan Brown was my name. I guess you know your.
Hey man, good singing. Well, I've seen Hey Earl Benny. You did good in there. Where's your buddy? This is the guy that being doggy dog that tells me all the.
This is the guy, huh?
This is the guy that tells me all the jokes.
Joke man.
Yeah, this guy.
I'm just the driver.
Are you driving?
I'm just driving.
Okay. Well, it's good. Oh, you got me something? Is this a ticket there?
She keeps apologizing, but I said the fact that she could do it at 96, and you know, her eyesight's not so good anymore.
Oh, it's awesome. Look at there. She painted that for me. I've got another rock for her.
I want to show you this. I got for you.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I want y'all to be sure to go back and look at my chambers in the
I want to.
There's any. There he is.
Judge.
The best mayor in the history of mankind. Right here. Here we go. That's it.
All right.
Hey, thank
Love
you.
it.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, and I may not have ever told you this, but no doubt Ward and Fred had a lot to do with my decision. But Roger Dixon is a very dear friend of mine and represented me forever. And I called Roger, who was a judge, of course, magistrate, and he said, you ought to go with Russell.
There you go. I've got to call him.
Anyway, so you need to, so he was a big part of that too, and I'll tell you, and it was controversial.
It was.
But I will say this, you have made me very proud because the decisions you make reflect on what that I made, reflect on me, and you were a good one.
Thank
You were a great one.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I want to get a. Hey, Earl, give us a picture.
Trying, you be still. Got it. Thank you.
Y'all here's Steve.
Yeah. All right. Russell, no, thank you. No, I mean, you've done a great job. You really have. You really have. And it wasn't easy. I mean, to make the decision. It's never easy.
Oh, they're always.
Everybody. Anyway, you've been great, and I'm glad you're my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Take care. No, did Missy come today?
I don't know. Okay, Canyon hour.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, y'all
Life goes on.
I know it is. You're two good people. I know that.
All right, thanks, Judge.
Steve, get this picture. Hey, listen. This is. See right up here. That's what she does. She's my
Love it.
partner.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And this is my buddy. This is my Red Bank High School buddy.
Yeah, I miss my people.
I know it. I know it. I'll go, y'all.
I'm his official photographer.
Oh.
1, 2, cheese. All right, good.
He's paid. He's paid.
Oh, yeah.
Probably should have done this.
This was so enjoyable.
Oh, Lord, we'll tell them. Here's my adopted son right here. He's outgrown me. This is my adopted son. Has he grown up on me?
Yeah.
I want to get one with you, Dolphin Dan. Give him the camera there, will you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, good.
Hey, you what now? You've been doing okay?
Hey, he took my picture one time and had someone put my hands behind my back.
Okay, all right.
Remember that?
Now, this is my karaoke buddy.
Oh, okay. I've heard about you.
I used to sing Johnny Cash, and the only thing I'd let him do is he'd sing Suey. Give us a Suey.
Suey. Oh, my favorite was he wants a picture. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. But he wouldn't let me say it.
He wouldn't.
He's got to
Hey, thank you for coming.
Love it.
I know. We want a picture.
There you go.
There we go.
that light. Got it. Okay.
Can you make us look a little younger? Anyway, good.
Hey, do that hugging thing again. It's called
what?
do that hugging thing. There you go.
appreciate it. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for all the remarks.
Well, they all true. They were all true. I tell you what, if it wasn't for you and John, and of course, I thought it was pretty good. Well,
This is my counselor, my advisor, my guidance counselor. You're not the only one.
She keeps you straight. But you listen to her. You don't listen to her.
You're doing good.
I know, thank you.
Hello, Ben Cagle. This is Pat Brown with Chattanooga City Court coming through you live in the wreck. Trying to sound like a radio man. This is my daughter, Kim.
Hi. Hi, Kim.
This is my grandbaby, Mary.
Hi.
This is the world famous Ben Cagle. Do y'all remember Luther?
You have.
Everybody knows Ben Cagle.
But do you remember Luther on the radio? This was Luther's phone. And every time Luther would get good ratings, he would kiss Luther on his bald head. True story.
Mr. Cagle, would you like some cake?
That's true. It was a party, I'm telling you. It was a party.
Would you like some cake? Just a cookie?
I'll get some in a minute.
I lost track of
I've been working on this grand jury for years, so I kind of have to.
I recognize your voice, though.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You take care.
Yes, sir, Jerry. Good to see you.
She's with Sarah's came down. Was really nice. Well, Steve was a great friend, great judge, our buddy. I appreciate what you said. Here's Gary. Where I am. Can you get my picture? Sure. Yes, I can see
Man, that's good. Now, who is this?
Usually reach out
You can smile. Get up here. Because he was still on.
Sandy, I'm gonna get a picture of Sandy.
Yeah, I was kind enough. Which one we going to first?
Oh, you go first.
Look at me, Russell.
All right, here we go. It's Laura. My name is Laura. Where did the speaker go?
All right, good.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3. It's beautiful, it's beautiful.
This is, I was talking about all my in-laws.
Yeah.
This is them.
Is this the in-laws or outlaws?
Well, we got one outlaw. I won't mention who it is.
Love
Oh,
it.
they're all great. What about, where's the rest of you? This is my high school friend, Jeannie. She and I have been buddies through the years, many, many years.
Many years, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
We won't say how many. How many? We're going to take a picture there too. See.
Here we go. Well, here, I need to send one to Russell, too.
Okay. Let's see. We got them going here.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Sherry.
Sherry has been practicing. She's been practicing acting like she's sad for a week. but she's doing pretty good. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, it's from the heart. Everybody, I guess I left some people out. I thought about it all last night, you know.
You still got your breakfast buds? You got your lunch crew here?
I do have them.
It won't be the same.
Hey, am I not correct? Y'all are talking gigabytes and megahertz, and I'm sitting over there. I have.
And he doesn't have
He has that deer in the headlights look.
Right.
I always change the subject. I get it changed to something. Hey, I want a picture with Suanna.
I'll take one. You all take
Here's another one of my Red Bank High School.
Oh.
one of his girlfriends.
One of my this is my.
He had a bunch of girls.
Yeah, here we
He
are.
did.
Yeah, right here they are.
Yeah, he really did.
Love it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The statue just run on that one. Hey, Steve, get us a picture here. These are both of my hired photographers.
Every morning on Facebook. I've got
Anybody that wants to go back to the chambers can do it. Just turn left, last door on the right, you'll see it. Yeah. Can they come up here? Yeah.
I know I've had a bunch of
I told the last time, but I didn't tell this time about I know it. She brought a note up here and I said, get out of here. Because he'd been, see, that's the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
You know what, the other times he called once, and he was in jail. He said he was in jail. They wanted me to make his bond, or sign bond. Another time, he was at Hooters, and there was a girl that was needed to try a case, and wanted me to come out to Hooters and try the case. So then when he called and said, I shot somebody, I said, get out of here. And he had actually shot somebody.
He always called work, and if
Yeah.
somebody that didn't know him, he'd tell him it was
She had a
his
great
parole.
brother. This is Lynn Anderson. Her brother is Gary. He's one of my best
Oh, I know. Yeah.
friends. You know Gary.
Oh, yeah.
Earl knows Gary. All the people in
A number one. He was A number one.
So, okay.
I'm Ben Cagle.
Yeah. He used to run with him. That's Earl Friedenberg. Hey,
Alan wants a picture with you.
Earl the Pearl.
Exactly. I've had one of all these lollygags.
People like me want to read you get down there.
I hope I last long to retire.
Now, what do you want me to do?
Just hold it. You don't have to focus or anything. Just kind of hold it. It's running. It's recording.
Now, that was when emissions was effect, because a lot of people that have, need to fix their cars to get to emissions. That's why I don't think they're doing that anymore. I'm always left out.
You are left out. That's true. That's my buddy Ben. Gentle Ben. Big Ben. He's one of my radio pals. There you go. Yeah. Hey, Ben, this is my buddies. This is my pals. What I was talking about going to the ball games. And everything. Don,
I was really kind of surprised that you run around with Ed Watt. I don't understand that.
Jim and Don here. We went to Red Bank. We graduated Red Bank High School together. And then Ed, I don't know where he came in.
I've known Ed for a long time. A number one, buddy. A number
I
one.
had y'all. That's right. Jasper.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, these two guys, Larry, Mo, and Curly here, we all graduated Red Bank High School in '59.
59.
They've got wanted posters on these two. Not me, I was the paragon of virtue. And here's Sue Anna, she was there too. She was there too.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Jeannie, come here, Jeannie. This is all red, no, come here in front of me. Yeah, that's good. No, that's good, that's good, yeah, that's good. Now we all.
Wonderful.
This is all of our
Look at the
classmates.
camera. One,
Oh.
2, 3. Let me take a couple more.
Yeah.
All right, let's
And
look
then I've
at,
got another.
all right, now we're all gonna sing, we're gonna sing the Red Bank High School album.
Are you really? Great. Let's do it.
Oh, Red Bank High.
Come on now. Let's do it. Let's do the whole thing. Come on.
We don't remember.
Well, hum it.
Up on a hill.
Ready?
I know it is. I know it is.
1, 2, 3.
I know we can do this. Oh, Red Bank
Take
High,
this one
ah,
out
Red
and
Bank
go
High.
high.
To thee our love will never die. Sweet Red Bank,
Now
Red
look up the chairs.
Bank.
Okay,
Look
ready?
up
All right,
the chairs.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
I gotta get one.
And there was one thing,
All ready?
1959, we're so fine.
Oh, you remember that one?
Well, that was our motto.
1, 2, 3. All right, there you go.
So you didn't make a song out of that. That was just a
That was our
motto.
motto. We're so fine, we're so fine, the class of 59.
Mr. Butler sent his best.
Yeah, Mr. Butler, this reader. Yeah. I'm probably the one that should have had
The number one song, what was the number one song in 1959?
Hound Dog.
No, that was 56.
Okay.
I listened to that stuff.
Venus. Frankie Avalon, remember?
Yeah.
Venus?
Venus, yes, yes.
Oh yeah, that was a great, that was
He knows.
the number one.
I listen to the blues every morning. I heart radio.
Oh really?
Guys, y'all get something to eat. Yeah. I want y'all to go back and look at my tacky museum. I want to see the tacky museum. I think all of you, I'm not sure if all of you are there now. But the pictures now that we take, the problem is that you don't.
Okay, so where does this go now, Pat?
This will go home with Judge Russell Bean as a memory of what he had in Chattanooga City Court for the last 22 years.
22
We
years.
use that.
So where is it going to be retired in a plaque or something? Or what do
It
you?
will be retired. He's got so much stuff in his back in his office, and I wished you could get it on the video because this will be part
I
of
have
that.
a lot of that. I have almost everything on video already.
This
Yeah.
will tie in with everything he's got back there.
Okay.
He's got a picture playing golf with his court officer, one of the famous court officers in Chattanooga, named Pat Brown.
I heard about a couple of those. Yeah, those little stories there.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Okay, so we're going to take it off, I guess.
Yes, sir. And saying goodbye to a great span for the great judge.
Hey, number
Russell
one.
Bean.
We love him. We love him.